Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam
Waalaikumsalam.
semua. Okay.
Waalaikumsalam.
So, welcome back. Kembali lagi kita ke Say It As It Is di Carabetul Facebook Live mingguan. Jumaat malam Sabtu pukul 9 PM. So, kita nanti saya ceritakan malam ni special lah. Dia tak macam biasa. Kita dah episod 8 malam ni, Alhamdulillah. Dan kita telah pun bincangkan sebelum-sebelum ni dengan mentor kita di sini, Pak Razak, tentang kesilapan-kesilapan umum dalam memulakan perniagaan oleh founder, pada contohnya pada mindsetnya, pada menentukan pasaran dan pada perancangan perniagaannya. Hari ini kita nak dengar the real thing. We have our special guest today. Kita panggil Cik Mus, nak dikenali sebagai Cik Mustakim ataupun nama pendek Cik Mus, seorang pakar rock melon ataupun seorang rock melonpreneur lah. Okay, welcome to the show, Cik Mus.
Terima kasih kan. Thank you for the invitation daripada tim Carabetul ni kan.
No
Jadi
problem.
guest speaker untuk hari ni.
Yeah, we are so glad. Tadi pun kita dah teruja, kita tengok ada a few macam special ni lah kan, shots lah daripada Cik Mus sendiri, apa yang terjadi di balik pintu di belakang sana. Dan nanti kita akan sembangkan. So Pak Razak, how are you?
Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So saya sebenarnya nak share lah dengan pendengar kita malam ni. Saya bertemu Pak Razak, both Pak Razak dengan Cik Mustakim di program di Matrix dulu. Dan saya sangat teruja lah malam ni untuk membincangkan secara langsung tentang topik yang telah pun kita tentukan. So topik malam ini adalah tips-tips melancarkan penghijrahan dari dunia corporate ke dunia keusahawanan. Ini translation daripada the original English title.
So, that's a very good translation.
So thank you. Anyway, perbincangan kita malam ni macam biasa, kita akan campur English dan bahasa Melayu. So kita harap kepada yang menonton dapat tanya soalan dengan dengan meriahnya, supaya kita boleh korek pengalaman dan ilmu daripada Cik Mus dan juga of course daripada kita punya mentor Pak Razak Manaf. So Cik Mus, saya ceritakan sikit lah tentang sedikit background, very simple sebab masa pun tak banyak benda yang nak sembang malam ni. So Cik Mus menguruskan HMA Hydromelons, HMA Hydromelons salah sebuah farm rock melon hydroponic terbesar di Selangor. Okay. Dan prior to that, sebelum tu of course ada banyak pengalaman menjalankan perniagaan lain, contohnya seperti perniagaan restoran ataupun kopitiam selama beberapa tahun. Tapi kali ini beliau berkecimpung, saya boleh kata sepenuh masa, Cik Mus, untuk HMA Hydromelons. Dan para pendengar hari ini boleh follow HMA Hydromelon on Facebook. Saya pun baru follow, banyak info-info menarik dan lebih menarik lagi, sekejap lagi kita akan kopek lah. So I hope the explanation is correct, Cik Mus. Very brief.
Yes. Betul.
Okay. So maybe before even we start with the topic, Cik Mus ada apa-apa tak nak tambah about yourself so that our listeners hari ini lebih selesa untuk mendengar?
Okay, maybe itulah dia. I tambah sikit background dia kan. So sebenarnya saya ni memang saya start dulu kerja pun makan gaji. So I was from the corporate world lah. Kan. For I think like close to 15 years kan, sebelum berhijrah jadi entrepreneur kan. Dan dalam perjalanan jadi entrepreneur tu sebenarnya itu yang macam you cakap tadi lah. So I tried a few things lah kan. So ada restaurant dan I did like even consultancy kan. Dan for the past lebih kurang lah dah masuk tahun ketiga lah. Tahun ketiga untuk sekarang ni co-owner dan operator of HMA Hydromelons.
So bila kata co-owner tu meaning you are not alone lah.
No. Okay. Unlike masa restoran dulu, ini saya ada partners. So there's 3 of us. That's why HMA itu sebenarnya nama kita orang. So H is Hanifah, M is Mustakim dan A is Arif. And so that's what HMA is made of lah. kan.
So HMA tu baru saya dapat tangkap lah nama 3 orang kan. Partner kita akan
Yes,
bincang tentang
yes.
partnership after this.
Kalau tidak nama Mustakim Hydromelons dah.
Iyalah tu. Betul. Anyway, dalam banyak-banyak buah kan, kenapa rock melon tu?
Actually, okay. This is the difference between my first venture or my first yang ni lah, as soon as selepas corporate world when I quit, when I did restaurant, dengan this venture. Kalau ceritanya masa buat restaurant tu, sebenarnya saya banyak assumption kan when I did that business. So before I elaborate a bit on that one. I want to elaborate a bit on the journey itself, ataupun kenapa nak jadi seorang entrepreneur. Kan? Because in my case, masa mula jadi entrepreneur ni, reason saya ni agak cetek. Kan? Kalau tengok video Start With Your Why or Understanding Why or Simon Sinek punya buku, video, and he talks about having a mission, having a vision that entrepreneurs can go towards, yang akan membuatkan business tu sebenarnya akan lagi mantap lah kan. Kerana ini macam saya ni masa start tu I had only 2 reasons. Satu, nak jadi bos sendiri. Kan? Pasal itulah dia, kita ni jenis keras kepala sikit kan. So corporate world ni sebenarnya tak rewarding untuk orang yang keras kepala sebenarnya.
I thought sebab itulah rock melon kan, sebab keras kepalanya.
Well, itulah dia kan. Semua tu kan masuklah juga.
Iyalah tu. Okay. So that's reason number 1, you want to be your own boss.
Yes, and secondly, I just wanted to make money. Kan?
But you still could, I mean, you could make tons of money in the corporate world as well, right?
Betul. But then like it would not ni the first reason tu susah sikit lah kan. Pasal kita ni jiwa memerontak ni kan. Sebab kalau nak duit juta-juta, kita boleh kerja dekat ESO, Pak Razak. Betul. But what I want to share pun pasal this journey ni bukan kejap. Daripada time I quit tu sampai sekarang ni dah 11 tahun dah.
I see.
Yeah. So 11 tahun is both lama dan kejap.
Sorry, 11 tahun, and then you were doing the kopitiam business for about 3 years.
Yeah. So that's right. That one, because I quit corporate 2010, then 2011 I started the kopitiam. And until 2014. 2014. Then after that I quit. As in I know the business ni lah kan. I exited the business. And a few years later down the road kan, was the actually end of 2018 was the planning for the farm. And 2019 we launched it. So that's why I cerita yang the farm ni kira dah dekat 3 tahun lah, because the ideation, the planning, the work and all this semua started in 2018.
Yeah, it is time also. And you were talking about having assumptions tadi kan, masa business.
Betul. So that's the difference yang ni lah kan, because one thing also the assumption is that you akan ada the market. Dengan
yakinnya lah maksudnya assumption.
Betul kan, because you or I fikir kan, janji kita ada the product. Ini dah macam style how they build bagels lah ya. Build it and people will come.
Kan? So wishful thinking sama ke dengan wishful thinking yang Pak Razak selalu sebut tu?
Boleh juga tu.
Kan?
Boleh juga tu kan.
Macam ada fine line sikit lah antara berfikiran positif dan mengharapkan sesuatu tanpa sebab yang munasabah ni.
That is a very good point sebenarnya. Kan? Which actually wishful thinking and thinking positive. Semua ni the beza dia sama ada you dah actually ada test assumption tu atau tidak. Kan?
Okay.
So and then when you ask tadi tu sebenarnya very good question, why rock melon?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing about rock melon, unlike my first business tu, rock melon at the time that kita orang enter the market, or when I wanted to enter the market, and after this, that's why I say like the 2018 tu sebenarnya banyak testing out or doing research.
2018, okay.
In 2018, so I was doing research. And one thing I discover when it comes to rock melon as a agriculture product. Pasal you boleh cerita cili, you boleh cerita timun, labu, jagung. Saya like apa agriculture ni sebenarnya is limitless.
Cerita cili tu familiar tu.
Okay. So but one thing that I discovered in 2018, two very strong points for rock melon.
Okay.
Number one, demand exceeds supply.
I see. Tak cukup supply ni ya.
Memang tak cukup.
Okay.
Tak mencukupi. Kan? Because when, and bukan saja cerita from the market, I sendiri pergi jumpa pemborong.
Okay.
Kan? And then find out further about the pemborong apa semua thing. In fact, this guy, the pemborong ni, daripada satu lori about 7 or 8 years ago, dia sekarang ada 13 lori.
Super. Okay.
And dia dua produk dia, satu rock melon, satu lagi betik. Only those two product.
Okay.
So that's how the demand is, that sampai dia punya business pun grow, kan, throughout all these years lah. So number one, the demand has always been, the demand exceeds supply.
That particular guy was really important lah when you were doing your research in 2018. He was like
Just to verify that betul ada market ke tak.
Okay. Understood.
Kan. So this is where sebenarnya my problem sekarang ni terbalik. Kan. Dulu kita problem nak cari customer. Nak problem nak pastikan, because like when you run a restaurant kan, sebenarnya you're talking about daily kena ada X amount of sale. Kan, because like you know already, like okay, I know that daily if I don't exceed katalah 700, sebenarnya I'm already running at a loss. Kind of thing kan. So it's like the pressure is always there lah, because there's always going to be ups and downs. And then I was in a commercial area, so tolak Sabtu Ahad bila tak ada workers, bank tak buka, and all this thing semua. I think so I got to make sure that the 5 days tu is very ni lah, boleh cover lah.
Faham.
Kan. Tapi masalahnya Malaysia ni very generous with public holidays.
Okay. Itulah tu banyak betul cutinya.
Itu satu assumption yang terlepas pandang.
I see. Anyway, coming back ke cerita rock melon tadi tu. Okay, rasanya quite clear lah, jelas lah. Okay, bila kita dapat tahu dengan lepas kita test tu yang supply tak dapat nak memenuhi demand pada masa tu, maksudnya kat situ ada satu gap yang kita boleh isi kan. Cuma saya lebih tertarik nak zoom out sikit. Why agriculture in the first place? Is it your passion?
This is okay. Going back to my why.
Okay.
Kan, like as I mentioned earlier tadi kan. So time tu like cetek je, kita fikir nak buat duit kan. It's like, I tak nak kerja, I tak nak bekerja corporate. So what business do I do? Sebenarnya it didn't matter to me. F&B at that time nampak macam entry point dia senang.
I see.
Okay, the choice was made because it looked like a business that I can set up and get it off the ground fast.
Okay.
Which I did.
Okay.
Tapi the sustaining tu sebenarnya yang pening palanya lah, kan. Kan. But with this business now, or as kita ni dah mature sikit lah kan. My why has changed. My why has a lot to do with growth.
Okay.
So if it allows me to grow and learn new things, sebenarnya I'm very interested.
So rock melon business is considered new thing masa tu for you?
Yeah, it's new for me.
Okay.
It's new for me, kan. And sebenarnya I discover benda lain juga because like our farm is in Ijuk, kan.
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now, and
Yeah.
most of the time I spend my time here,
Okay.
kan. So Ijuk, kalau tak tahu, is about 40 minit outside of KL,
Yeah.
and it's still a kampung lah. Sini masih kampung.
Yeah. Dengar bunyi cengkerik tu rasanya tu.
You can hear the cekrik. In fact, the key is you tak dengar traffic.
Wow. Super.
Kan?
Yeah.
You tak dengar the ni lah kan kereta ke apa ke and all this kind of thing. So this one is an incidental punya blessing lah.
Okay.
Kan for me,
Understood.
because like, it changed my lifestyle kan.
Ada banyak bonus lah sebenarnya along the way tu kan.
Betul. Itu discovery lah. So and sebenarnya you tak boleh nak test all your assumption pun. I pun tak tahu yang sebenarnya I boleh duduk di kampung atau tidak kan ni kan. But when you talk about being an entrepreneur, like I mentioned, yang first kali sekarang ni I look at, is there a market for this product? Kan? So that is the first hurdle. Because now the problem is for me to produce, bukan problem is to cari customer.
Yeah.
Which is actually when I made that journey before, I find that to be a painful journey.
Understood.
So I didn't want to repeat that. So kita nak cari apa benda yang orang nak, benda yang kalau I produce I boleh jual.
Yelah, tapi ada kat sini tu dah ada banyak lah pengajaran kalau kita kopik sikit-sikit kan. Satu benda macam kita kena open, kita tak boleh ego, walaupun kita geng-geng harta mas ke damansara ke, kita kena ready untuk bertapak di Ijuk yang rupa-rupanya suits us better kan. Benda yang kita benda yang kita tak sangka and so on. Anyway, mengenangkan masa ni kalau tak banyak lagi nak kopik on that topic. So bila kita fast forward, bila you found out that okay, ni ada peluang, ni ada gap, dan kat sini dah tested dah whatever assumptions that you made on apa rock melon business, and okay, bila you dah firm tu, then what happened? You macam okay, you panggil geng-geng you set up.
So that's why the difference yang macam cerita yang sebelum ni solo, dan now this is a partnership lah. HMA ada 3 orang kan. So bezanya jugalah kan, nak make it a smoother journey. Pasal masa jadi buka restoran tu, then saya buat seorang kan.
Wow. Okay.
So semua aspek of the business atas shoulder kita lah.
Yelah tu 100%.
100% kan. Tak kisahlah anything lah, production, human resource, customer service, marketing kan, accounting, kan. So of course there's all these softwares and all these things that can help you now kan. Tapi kalau kita pun tak kerti pakai kan apa semua ni kan. So this is part of my tip as well lah, kalau nak make it a smoother transition. In my case, I know that my next venture, which is this venture, but at that time I didn't decide any venture pun, tapi when I decided, I know that I tak nak buat seorang.
Okay, understood.
So
what was the criteria yang masa tu okay, aku nak buat ni rock melon business ni, so nak cari orang tu, what was your method? Panggil member ke macam mana ke?
Sebenarnya okay, it's not just about the rock melon. Pasal when I wanted to go to another business, kan, basically my criteria ni for partners lah kan. Dia ada 3 kan. Satu, partner tu nak share the burden.
Willing.
To share the burden. Bukan pasal ada juga I do have a friend who's doing farming as well. So ada 4 partner. Kan. Tapi 3 partner tak, kalau dalam satu musim tu mungkin 1 kali dia lah pergi ladang. Yang seorang ni lah yang kena. Yang buat semua kerja kan. But they all put in the same amount of money.
Okey, dari segi kewangan sama. Okey.
Dari segi kewangan sama, tapi when it comes to actual operation, seorang took the burden, kan?
Okey, ya.
So that's what happened for me. So in my case, it's like the burden yang cerita ni bukan sekadar financial, because in terms of financial, pun yes, kita orang share. Then in terms of roles and responsibility and task pun kita ada share.
Faham.
So first, share burden.
Okey.
Kan? Number two, of course, want to share the mission. So sebelum tu kita ceritalah apa yang kita nampak untuk crop melon punya business ni, apa yang kita boleh buat in the next 2 years, 3 years. So selain daripada production, apa lagi yang kita nak buat, apa semua I think. So bila cerita-cerita tu memang adalah that one of the things is growth. Pasal setengah orang nak buat macam, yalah, if I last time macam nak buat satu restoran tu, okay, sebenarnya I nak buat satu restoran je. Tak ada pun fikir nak buat, I want to open a franchise. I nak open 3 kedai, 4 kedai, 20 kedai. I didn't have that dream.
Okay.
I think. But here we shared the mission, the same mission lah, that we wanted to grow the business. And the brand, the business. Kan?
Yeah.
Number 3, actually in our case lah kan, but when I talk about partnership, memang kena ada different strength.
Meaning
tak boleh
to complete each other lah basically.
Yes, to complement each other or to cover up partner's weakness or to back up or to actually make sure that you punya strength ni is complementary lah.
Understood. So as a team,
so in our case memang the 3 of us, there's one guy that does admin. I tell you, memang I benci habis admin. Admin ni memang kerja paling menyampah sekali lah. Yang kena buat.
Okay. That's one of the guys.
Waktu pun naik SSM, make sure that everything, all the license. Then it's like he takes care of admin, maknanya he takes care of finance as well.
Yelah, betul lah, admin and accounts eh.
Yes, so dia lah yang beli QuickBook, dia lah make sure that all our ni is updated. So when we want to come up with a financial report every season, everything everything is there.
Nak tulis surat kat MITI pun kita menyampah, apatah lagi nak buat benda-benda.
Betul. And bila ada customer requiring quotation, dia handle.
Quotation pun dahsyat brother.
Yes. So kan.
So lagi seorang?
So lagi seorang is operational kan, which actually dia backup lah. Myself dengan dia is operational and technical. So but of course lah when because saya ni baru, so my partner ni dah buat farm dah, so that's the other thing lah, my choice
experience lah.
Betul. So somebody dah ada experience, so that while saya ni nak belajar, kita adalah somebody yang kira stronger lah.
Yeah, understood.
In this. So that kind of dynamics reduce a lot of stress.
Okay, understood. Sebab seimbang lah, tak ada lompong lah orang kata kan.
Well, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Kind of thing. And betul. But in my experience I tak tahu, ramai je yang boleh handle everything on their own. But they manage to find good people to work for them.
Betul.
That they are able to ni. Tapi as a founder and owner, sebenarnya dia seorang. Kan? Tapi in my case, as a founder, we are co-founders. There's co-founders, and then we were clear lah in terms of roles and responsibility.
Of course,
kata perfect tulis everything A to Z tu tak ada lah, tapi the big picture tu kita cover.
The trust is high lah between you guys kan. Itu pegangan nombor 1 lah kan.
Betul.
Kalau tidak payah juga, it's like a marriage kan. Kalau tak ada trust, macam mana mau kahwin.
Betul. Exactly. And before you marry ataupun get into a relationship, you have an idea of what sort of person you want to be with.
Yep.
But you discover that you didn't get what you wanted in the first place. Tapi kira okay lah, kira at least like more than 70%, 80% punya.
Betul. Anyway, kita ada soalan Cik Mus daripada kita punya pendengar setia Encik Hamid Karim. So this question is for you. What is one of the most important cara betul business decisions that you adopted when you change from kopitiam to melon business? In your opinion, what is one of the most decision yang you rasa memang betul lah you buat masa you nak hijrah daripada kopitiam to melon business?
Okay, that one was the verifying the market.
Okay, verifying the market. Okay.
Yeah, verifying the market. That was I see for this particular business right now, the most critical. And it's also coincidence, because like we cannot talk about business right now without mentioning the fact that how the past 2 years with COVID has changed the landscape for business.
Yeah, betul. So, banyak business yang terkesan.
Okay. Yes. And the fact that I entered into a food producing punya business before the COVID is actually very coincident.
Yeah.
It's very coincident. But that now actually reinforces our business or our decision to go into this business right now lah, kan, bila cerita food production. Because
sebab ceritanya tak tahu daripada mula cerita, I think this is one of the definition of thinking positively lah kot kan. Kalau kita tengok lalu bisnes kopitiam, lepas tu kita macam ni tak boleh ni kena adjust lah orang kata kan, kena baiki balik.
Betul.
and then cari cara yang lebih baik untuk go to melon, and then buat pula keputusan tu, jumpa partners, and then the timing is right, food producing. So elemen positivity dan rezeki tu macam sangat jelas lah dekat sini.
Yeah. The flow lah. Flow tu it's a smoothernya flow lah.
Understood.
In that sense. Kan? Not to say that kita orang tak hadapi challenges apa semua, because like as we discover, agriculture ni memang bukan senang.
Yang tu nak kena tanya sikit kat Pak Razak tu, dia pernah berada di lapangan tu sebelum ni kan. Okay.
Kan?
So
but I can say that my stress levels in handling the challenges lain berbanding dengan masa buat kopitiam punya stress level. Yang tu betul macam rasa nak hantuk kepala kat dinding lah banyak kali.
Yelah, benda-benda yang macam, okay, satunya you were doing it alone lah kan.
Betul.
One fact lah. Lepas tu environment tu, sekarang ni bapak tenang dekat Ijuk tu kan. Ada pula lagi 2 orang yang boleh support kita kan. So apa nama ni, kita ada lagi lah about 15 minutes left.
Okay. This is going very fast.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Jelas sikit. Pasal saya sebenarnya know quite well lah Mustakim punya background ni, especially masa dia di kopitiam kan. I think the big decision that you made, the migration from kopitiam to rock melon kan, the biggest decision that you made during the kopitiam was to stop throwing good money after bad money. I think that was a major decision. It's not an easy decision.
Yes.
Some people call it pivot kan.
Yeah.
Where you try everything that you think you can do, and then you look at the environment in which you're operating. There is not very promising. But generally, most entrepreneurs, dia kalau boleh dia tak nak abandon the program, the business. Pasal dia kata, aku dah invest banyak duit kan.
Betul.
Tapi yang penting orang kampung dah tahu ni, malu aku tutup kedai. But you made that decision. That is, I think, a major critical point lah in the entrepreneur's journey. There will be situation macam I made a major decision when I give up farming. Although I know I invested a big sum of money, and then And the way things were going, I know there is very difficult for me to salvage the situation lah. Because I started off in the wrong foot. Cara I salah. Cara I was 100% based on assumption and what I call conventional wisdom. Tapi when I really go into the business, I realize assumption ni sebenarnya propaganda kerajaan je sebenarnya. Bukan masa tu very big slogan perniagaan pertanian itu ialah satu perniagaan. Siap dengan statistik, siap dengan macam-macam lah. Wah, saya pun tertarik sangat lah.
Still lagi pakai tu.
Tapi you went through that, I went through that. I think both of us made one decision which many people find it very difficult to do. Stop the business, cut losses, start new. In other words, don't continue being what I would call a walking dead. Banyak bisnes sekarang kita tengok kan, walking dead. Nak bankrupt pun kata boleh jalan lagi, nak untung tidak. So it's not very satisfying to run that type of business. It's in fact very stressful. That's one point. The other point that I think I like to pick up what you just said, which is very true. Before you start your second business, you make certain assumption. But before using those assumptions as a basis for making decision, you get out of the building. You talk to people in the business, the stakeholders, whether your assumption ni betul ke tak betul. Only then can you use or you can turn those assumptions into what I call verified information and use that as a basis for making your planning.
Betul.
These are the two key things that you did, which I think Encik Hamid is trying to look for lah. What are the decision points? Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Zulfa, can you?
Yeah, no problem. Betul tu. So apa nama ni, sebenarnya saya nak tanya balik dengan Cik Mus lah, sebab I think dalam nak conclude ni pun will take a bit of time. Kita di Cara Betul ni kita lebih menekankan kepada pemula perniagaan ataupun founder-founder yang masih di peringkat untuk memulakan perniagaan. So you've been through this, kan? You've been through kopitiam business, and then you are now doing rock melon business. Apa advice that came to mind lah untuk so called orang-orang yang baru nak memulakan perniagaan? Tak kisahlah dia muda, dia tua dan sebagainya. Apa yang kalau boleh korang janganlah buat kesilapan ni, for example.
Okay, I would say kalau from a business perspective, dulu ni the idea of testing the business model ni sebenarnya secara konvensional ni kita kurang sikit lah. Saya pun kurang, kan? Because you boleh buat macam-macam to test whether you punya business ni sebenarnya ada market ke tak, kan? Dan ini akan beri you peluang untuk test sama ada you nak enter a business yang walaupun dah occupied by so many people. Because somebody can have the vision of, say for example, katalah nak buat kosmetik. Padahal kalau tengok sekarang ni kosmetik punya business ni macam dah saturated. Ataupun tudung. Kan? Tak kisahlah, anything Muslim based punya produk ni sebenarnya dah macam ni lah kan, quite heavily punya ni. Tapi akan ada juga kan. But you don't really have to invest big time. Macam saya dulu buat kedai makan terus kan. But if I wanted to enter F&B, sebenarnya boleh je try out satunya even without doing the business to work at the particular industry.
Okay.
And whether you can or even like to be in that environment. Give yourself a month, 2 months, kan?
Test drive.
Yeah, test drive. I think. So you name any business whatsoever, akan ada peluang untuk you sama ada in one way or another to be involved in that particular business.
Okay.
As an employee, as a volunteer,
Betul,
kan?
betul.
As your friend punya ni, kan?
Dan sebenarnya waktu kita berada di situ tu, masa kita duduk di situ sebulan dua, itu masalah kita boleh test, kita borak dengan komuniti tu, kan? Kita bercakap-cakap dengan peniaga-peniaga itu. Okey, satu cara yang sangat masuk akal lah, yang saya tak jarang jugalah dengar tips tu, kan. Masuk bekerja ataupun
if I want to do any business after this, sebenarnya like, tak payah nak cerita malu ke apa kind of thing. Because now the why tu is very clear. The why tu sebenarnya you nak tahu, you nak discover sebelum you actually jejak masuk, rather than based on assumption, so and so buat tudung kaya, so saya pun nak buat tudung. So and so jual madu ke Lulut, is very successful, so saya pun nak buat madu ke Lulut.
That's the thing, sebab bila kita, bukan nak cakap ni lah kan, tapi biasanya bila kita tengok orang share kan tentang something, contoh kita share pasal rock melon malam ni, mungkin yang tengok ni macam aku nak try jugalah rock melon ni, macam menarik.
Betul.
Kan?
And kita ada volunteer, like now we have this father and son who wants to do the farm, and they have decided to volunteer for 3 months with us. So I said this is memang macam benda macam ni lah yang patut saya buat dulu sebelum masuk business ni.
Because so wonderful.
3 months actually you don't waste anything. In fact you gain so much.
Iyalah tu.
Kan? Macam I pun buat macam the research for this business pun, it took me months sebenarnya. Cerita naik turun. At least actually I spent 6 months, because 2 seasons of my partner ni, I duk turun naik, duk discuss cerita apa semua tu, sambil tu start to know the industry. Okay. So it took me about 6 months kan, before I finally did ni kan.
Okay, so Pak Razak, any comment on this matter, testing out the ground dulu dengan cara pergi bekerja di sana, for example?
The term that we use before you start a business, even before you make certain assumption, kalau boleh lah. What Mustakim did was right. He first chose the market, which is not common actually. People normally start with the product. They work very hard on the product. Boleh jadi in this case buah tu dah, pokok farm tu dah berbuah dah kot, baru nak cari market. But he start with the market, verify betul ada market. This was the biggest mistake that I made. My market research was basically attending conference, seminars and workshops conducted by various government agencies. Dia cerita kat this is the market. Saya tak pernah turun padang. Check betul ke ni? Dia cerita, saya tak pernah turun pasar burung. Saya hanya pakai apa yang farmer bagi. Bila siap benda tu saya nak jual, rupanya market tu tak ada. Kalau ada pun, cara yang difficult for us to penetrate lah. What Mustakim did was, the first thing was, go to the market first. Don't work on the farm first. Go to the market first. The other approach yang dia buat ni is what we suggest, we call it immersion. I-M-M-E-R-I. Immersion tu, you menyelam dalam the environment. By doing so, you actually will achieve 2 things. Number one, you can be more certain whether you are right for this business. Keduanya, you actually start making networks in the business.
Yes.
Which is very useful when you start. So I normally would suggest people, hey, you are interested in this market kan? Okay. Don't take for granted that this is the market for you. Why don't you immerse yourself? You can either work in the market, kerja dengan orang, or you tak dapat kerja dengan orang, you volunteer, macam you have father and son to volunteer, or you join network. Sekarang banyak network kan? Or you attend all these conferences yang people congregate lah, and then you form personal relationship with them. Then only you start your real planning lah, your hardcore planning. which Mustakim actually did 6 months. To me 6 months tu pendek tu.
I see.
Tapi orang sekarang dia tak boleh. Kalau 6 months tu dia nak jadi millionaire tu. Pasal semua advertisement kata I make you a millionaire in 3 months kan. But 6 months tu kira very good, dah very fast tu.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to ask Mustakim, nowadays especially during this COVID period, banyak orang lost their job lah.
Yeah.
And the probability of them getting back their job pun not sure lah, because the company pun takes time to recover, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time also, there are also a lot of what I think incentive lah being out there for to encourage people to start business. Now, all this while the popular conception and the notion, kalau entrepreneur tu mesti orang muda. But do you think anybody above 40 can start a new business? Or would that be a disadvantage or advantage? Anyway, you started tu umur berapa?
Kalau ni that's like 45 this month.
Now, when you started, about 10 years ago kan?
10 years ago, then I was 30 plus, below 40 lah.
Below 40 lah. Okay.
Time tu tak tahu pun boleh apply all this like loan grant ni kan. Above 40 ni baru sedar lah kan.
Okay. Do you think age is very important in
Yes.
starting a business?
Yes, age is important, and in fact, being young and start a business sometimes can be a disadvantage.
That's contrary to what many people are saying.
Because the wisdom sebenarnya tak ada lagi. So bukan
network pun kurang masa tu.
Network kurang, wisdom kurang, and that's where the assumption is even stronger, because you think you already know and you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So part of the things that we do here besides the farming ni kan, we are trying to share that with a lot of people. That's why one of the things that we do is kita provide briefing pada orang yang interested nak jadi farmer ni kan. Because then if I share with you, tak kisahlah whatever age you are, you have a better picture of what is required in this farming world before you actually venture into it. Kan? So for me, this is part of giving back lah kan, because kita tak ada this sort of ni information other than the fact that if you're talking about locally kan, banyaknya kita Google je. So to find somebody that is sharing how this industry works, tak kisahlah whatever business yang you buat. If you imagine that, oh saya nak buat car wash, but you actually have to make assumptions, because tak ada pun mamat car wash nak cerita, oh macam ni, or the finance is like this, human resource dia macam ni, ini macam ni, tak ada pun kan. So there's a lot of that, I think. But in terms of what you were mentioning was, I agree. I would have to say that there is age punya ni lah kan, where at my age now, memang my wife tu dah bertukar. And I find that money is not the key driver anymore.
Okay.
So if people realize that early, then you will give yourself a lot of opportunity to grow, because you will never stop learning. But if money is just the drive, it's like,
yalah, tak berkehabisan lah. Anyway,
Yes.
Saya nak guna ayat klise sikit, masa mencemburi kita. Apa nama ni, apa saya nak cakap tadi? Okay, talking about sharing and giving back to the society, do you mind if I share the poster for your event tomorrow?
Please share our FB. So kita sekarang ni kita harvesting, so it's like we are this weekend. This weekend sebenarnya sampai stok habis lah. Ini pun satu benda yang COVID ni affected our business model lah, because awal-awal dulu pun kita banyak buat this open day and all this things semua kan. Dan you tahulah, baru je sekarang ni buka balik, boleh travel. Itu pun sebenarnya like to comply with the whole SOP and all these things pun like things that we have to think about, and we may not get it right. Kan? But these are like we did manage to cover it so much, tapi part of the adapting to the changes lah kan.
So talking about open day ni, dia hanya Sabtu esok sehingga habis macam tu?
I would say it starts tomorrow.
It starts tomorrow.
But mainly ialah weekend kan, Sabtu Ahad kan. But we will continue actually sampai ni lah kan habis. But the main punya ni is expected is tomorrow and this Saturday Sunday lah.
So adakah Cik Mus nak share apa benda yang berada di balik pintu tu, ataupun ada nak dia orang datang dulu tengok dekat?
No, it's like just look at our Facebook. I'll keep updating the pictures, latest pictures of the fruits and all this kind of thing kan. Then you can see better from there.
So boleh tengok di Facebook HMA Hydromelons, dan juga of course boleh tengok detail di poster yang kita paparkan ni. Boleh kontak 019-386-1239 kalau ada pertanyaan untuk open day di Rock Melon Hydroponic HMA Hydromelon. So
terima kasih banyaklah for sharing.
No problem. Terima kasih juga kami nak ucapkan kepada Cik Mus dan tim HMA kerana sudi berkongsi dengan kami lah pengalaman-pengalaman real life kepada kita dan juga para pendengar. So thank you Pak Razak juga memberikan komentar-komentar. Kalau boleh nak sembang lebih lagi kan, air pun panas lagi. So tapi tak apa, kalau ada rezeki kita akan buat episod lain tu, bergantung pada producer kita. Anyhow, kita harapkan semua untuk hadir kembali bersama Say It on Carabetul Facebook next Friday, InsyaAllah sama masanya 9 PM. So
next Friday we hope InsyaAllah I have another guest.
Okay, that's good.
A practitioner also, bukan orang akademik saja. Dia from a different business. Dia buat gas.
That is so cool.
So we have one guest agriculture, then now we have another guest from gas distribution. And then we hope to have another one. Because the reason why we want to do this is because we want to show or share the thing that we say is not very strange now. Yang kita ajar selama ni bukanlah benda tu pelik sangat.
Betul.
Sebenarnya dah di-practice. Most dah practice. I tahu. Based on what he said, we have done a lot of planning. We have took the right approach. We go to the market first, and then he do a lot of testing, and then he make sure he got the right team. Team ni something that many people tak begitu put serious effort lah.
So that's going to be next week. Special guest daripada gas industry.
And
kita look forward untuk berborak lah dengan beliau pada hari Jumaat 9 PM. So pihak Cara Betul kita doakan HMA Hydromelon dan Cik Mustakim sentiasa bersambung-sambung kebaikannya pada diri dan masyarakat, dan mendapat banyak keberkatan. Yes. So itu saja. Kita jumpa lagi.
I hope Cara Betul also able to reach more people kan.
InsyaAllah.
And guide them to make less mistakes.
Right. Buat cara betul, jangan buat cara salah.
So back to Gary at the studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.